Justice Seekers. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to stand right there in front of the glare. I do hope that the lighting is getting better. It's later in the day than it was when I did my video earlier. Excuse my cleavage there. Probably bothers me more than anybody else. So yeah, the lighting kind of gets worse as the day goes on. That's one reason why I want to do my videos early in the morning, because natural light is like the enemy for YouTube, it seems, at least with my equipment. But I will be investing in some better equipment too. So hang in there. I was thinking what I could call you guys, like Gisela from Grizzly True Crime. She calls her fans Grizzlies. I was thinking justice seekers. How do you like that? Okay, we're all just trying to seek justice. So a few thoughts from this morning's edition. I felt bad I could not remember Vanessa Julian's name. She was the one who disappeared from Fort Hood in Texas a couple years ago. And her family showed up immediately and literally like camped out at one of the entrances and had their picket signs, and they wouldn't shut up and they wouldn't go away until they got answers. And that's how you do it. I used to think people that would go and do like people did in the Gabby Petito case, when they went with their picket signs and their chairs and they hung out in the blazing hot Florida heat in front of the laundry house. As long as you're not trespassing, as long as you're not on their property, it's completely legal and sometimes necessary. If you guys remember a guy from Stanford University that was put in jail for lewd and lascivious acts, Brock Turner, when he was released and moved back here to Ohio, a lot of people went and stood in front of his house for like 24 hours, just making noise, letting him know he wasn't welcome. Like, no, you're not welcome in the neighborhood. Go away. We don't want you here. We're going to make it hard for you. It might sound crazy to some, but you got to do what you got to do. I say, if you feel it in your heart, if you feel it's important, pay attention to that. Pay attention to what your internal voice is telling you is right and wrong. So anyway, bless the family of Vanessa Julian, if I'm saying her last name correctly. They are now suing the military for $35 million. I found that out when I was looking up her name. We all know that Gabby Petito's family is suing the laundries for simply $100,000, but it's not the money, obviously. So, government contracts. I want to say something about this because I have just heard over the weekend that Sammy's parents, the lawyer and the private investigator, that their business is nothing but government contracts. Okay. I've mentioned before that my family is law enforcement and military, and my granddaddy, he had a lot of government contracts. Okay. He was a retired colonel from the Army, and he worked in the Pentagon. He was in the cabinet with Kennedy. He had a lot of government contracts even after he was retired. So I know what I'm talking about with this stuff. Of course, I didn't know what it was when I was younger, and it didn't really impress me. I was like, yeah, whatever, so you're in with the man. But it is impressive. And it also gives people privilege. I mean, I have to admit, I have certainly benefited from that privilege of my grandparents and, them being part of the establishment and all that. So, people like Sammy take great advantage of that privilege. Who's familiar with, I wrote his name down here because it's Kendrick Johnson. I had learned about this kid named Kendrick Johnson from a Christine Randall video. He was, I think, about 14 or 15 when he was murdered at school in the gym during school hours. And nobody was ever prosecuted for that. The kid who basically most likely allegedly did it, in my conspiracy theory opinion, is the son of a guy who worked for the FBI, who was very high up in the FBI back then. I think he's since probably been resigned, been, disassociated from everybody that was involved. A lot of political upheaval and years of trying. Kendrick Johnson's family still hasn't gotten justice. He was a black kid, and this was in the South. And they're still actively trying to get justice. They've had his body exhumed twice. It's a horrible, horrible situation. But I bring it up because of the government contracts, and because it seems as though Kendrick was probably killed over a girl. And it seems to me that Kylie was potentially killed over jealousy and maybe over a particular individual. Something that I thought about today that's never crossed my mind, Zanime. Okay, Zanime said she had been planning this trip to Prosser Lake to go kayaking for 3 months. We don't know if anything she says is true, right? Jagger and Kylie broke up several months ago, it seems. And it seems like there could be some connection there, like some revenge, or, maybe they were setting it up so that she was, the damsel in distress, and Jagger was going to come in and rescue her, and she would be indebted to him for the rest of her life, and shit went sideways. Who knows? But it just struck me like, oh, Zanime says she's been planning this Prosser trip for 3 months. What else has been going on for 3 months? What else started that long ago? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have the answers, but having the right questions is how you find things out. And not so much with people's answers even, but even with people not answering, right? Or how they answer. Their gestures, their hand gestures, their facial gestures, their eyes, their lips quivering. I mean, a lot of these things we do and we can't control it. And a lot of things that people say, they say accidentally. And that's why investigators have to sit down and interview these people and interrogate them. I mean, an interview is different than an interrogation, quite different. But both are extremely important. Being skilled is extremely important. Putting people at ease, joking around with people, giving them cigarettes or pizza or whatever it is they're asking for. Really, even the most psycho compulsive liar usually feels stress over telling a lie. And they would love to tell the truth. The truth sets you free. And they will try to tell the truth in little subtle ways or sideways, or when they just spit it out, it's because it's a relief. And every single criminal will tell you that. It was a huge relief when I got busted. Living with the stress of having to put up a front is stressful for anybody. It's stressful if you have to do it for an hour, 10 minutes, a day, a month, a year, a lifetime. It's extremely stressful, and it creates anxiety and mental health issues and physical health issues. You're not gonna get off. Karma's a bitch and she's got your number. So, do with it what you will. So I want to say trying to keep up with gaslighters, trying to keep up with criminals is close to impossible. I mean, it's pretty difficult to keep up with straight shooters, just to keep up with your own life and your own friends and family. when people are being dishonest and, sending you on wild goose chases, and they're doing it every day and they're doing it all day, multiple times a day, it's impossible. It's impossible to keep up with them and live your life. And it is crazy. These people are diagnostically, factually insane, and you're never going to make sense out of crazy. I learned that in my own personal life. You're never going to make sense out of crazy. It's like hitting your head against a brick wall. And a lot of us will keep trying. We'll keep trying to make sense out of the crazy because we think, oh, we almost got it. Usually it's kind of more of a subconscious thing we do, choosing people in our lives that are not healthy, thinking that if we can master this unhealthy relationship, we can, make peace with our dead parents or something like that subconsciously. And you just keep walking into the same shit and keep making the same mistakes and keep hitting your head against that brick wall. And you just have to surrender. You just have to realize you're never going to make sense of crazy. It's crazy. That's the definition of crazy. Okay. It doesn't make sense. And the crazy people think it does. To them, it makes sense. So there's the truth for regular, honest folks that live with integrity. And then there's the criminal's truth. And these are two different animals entirely. Criminals think that they have loyalty. They think they have ethics. They're true to themselves. They're true to their camaraderies, their business associates, if you will. And I love the saying, thick as thieves. They will cut each other loose and throw each other under the bus on a dime when push comes to shove, right? And they'll also kill each other when push comes to shove. It's really interesting to see how things unfold. A couple more things I wanted to cover before I wrap this one up real quick. The bodysuit. The bodysuit was found on the other side of Prosser Lake from where the party was, which is getting closer to Boca Reserve. I said Prosser Lake, it's Prosser Reserve, Prosser Creek. So the bodysuit was found kind of in between the two bodies of water, if you will. The person that found it was on one of the, which one was it? I want to say it was Nerdy Addict, who is awesome. It was Nerdy Addict, and it was like over an hour long. I forget when he had made it, but most of it was an IT guy, like a telephone expert and a laptop expert who knew nothing about Kylie's case, but everything about recovering information off of these devices if they've been underwater. So the first part was with him, and then the second part was with the person who found the bodysuit when she was out walking her dog before work. I think that the bodysuit, as well as the female in Sacramento that was running away from a silver Honda CRV and was chased down and pulled back into that silver Honda CRV in Sacramento the same night in question. Both of those questions got dismissed and disregarded, but yet they made it to national news and then they fell flat. And I think that those things need to be looked at. Why did they fall flat? The bodysuit is extremely relevant or not, rule it out, right? I mean, it's going to have DNA on it. Come on. And then the person with the vehicle, who is she? If it's not Kylie, it's somebody else in a domestic violence situation or trafficking situation or some type of violent situation. Let's get to the bottom of it. So one thing that is hopefully good about Kylie's horrible, horrible situation, I think a lot of people are hoping it's going to bring more attention to trafficking, human trafficking. It's a disgusting reality, okay? So another thing, and one more thing, I got two more things here. I want to talk about why Zanime said she had a video of a beautiful Mexican party that was happening right next door to the graduation party at Prosser Family Campground on the night of Friday, August 5th. She said she had a video. That was her whole point in coming on to the circuit of true crime. That was the first time I saw her. I was like, wait, why is she here? And then she's like, I have a video. Okay. Why have you never shown that video? Okay. If you do have it, I'm sure the police want it. So hopefully they already have it. The whole thing with the lack of video from the graduation party, the lack of photographs from the graduation party is sus as hell, right? Come on. Hopefully Sammy didn't get everybody to delete everything. I mean, it seems to me that was the whole purpose of those teen-to-teen talks. And also to find out who was interested in going to the authorities. Well, if you're going to go to the authorities, come talk to me. So then I can put your name on the list of people to keep a close eye on, right? So what did you want to tell the authorities? And what did you have to share with them? And what type of evidence do you have? Sorry, I keep trying to block that reflection. So the one last thing I wanted to discuss on this addendum here to this morning is the bro tank. Okay. Yeah, I'm from another generation. Okay. We call them wife beaters, right? So when the tow truck guy said that this young man at the roadside assistance call was wearing a bro tank, how many of us had to Google that? And I'm just wondering, did he not want to say wife beater on screen because this was actually Kylie and Jagger, and he didn't want to make a statement like that was so definitive and painting such a descriptive picture of something that is a very serious crime and accusation? For law enforcement, most people know this, but for those who don't, the most dangerous calls in the world that law enforcement ever go to, the most deadliest for the law enforcement, the most dangerous calls are domestic violence calls. Okay. Domestic violence is nothing to take lightly. And for people that are in relationships that have a tendency towards domestic violence characteristics, like overly controlling, I won't get into it, but you know what I mean. Get help, get some counseling, talk to your partner if you think they're workable. A lot of times they're not. A lot of times you just have to get away and move on with your life safely, because when a person is trying to get away from that abusive relationship is when they are in the most danger. And this is precisely why they stay, right? So if Kylie had been breaking up with Jagger off and on, and I'm going to tell you, the more I watched that little video, that creepy one that he put up where he says, when he posted it, he said she didn't know that he even made it. And it was of him walking towards her, snuggling with her, hugging her, kissing her, and then on a pier, and she's wearing that gorgeous black dress with the red platform shoes. And then he jokingly picks her up twice and pretends that he's going to throw her in the water. Okay. I wonder when I think about it or when I see it, was this made after the breaking up thing started? Was this, maybe a photo shoot for her senior picture, maybe a photo shoot for her musical endeavors? And they weren't really together, but then, he's kind of walking up to her like he's trying to bust a move. It really looks to me like he is hoping he doesn't get rejected. Like he's not expecting her to be open to him walking up to her and making the moves on her, which fits into him then doing something kind of strange and just concerning. So on that, again, everything I say is my opinion, speculation. It's all for entertainment and educational purposes only. Take it with a grain of salt, take it or leave it. I am really concerned about the people that might be suspects. I'll just say this. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I'm worried about them trying to pull a Brian Laundrie. Okay. They're getting a huge head start. And then there's this talk about if Kylie was nude in the vehicle or partially nude. That's a rumor. I don't know that that's confirmed. And were her remains already cremated? That would be extremely concerning. These are rumors that are swarming around the internet, and hopefully we will get answers to some of these questions soon. And just, keep the pressure on these people. Like I said earlier today, if you have the time and the inclination to send an email or make a phone call to the Nevada County Police, to the California Highway Patrol, to the feds, to Prosser County Sheriff, to the Truckee Police Department, if there is one, I would imagine that there is, put pressure on these folks to not cover for anybody's kids. No, that's not okay. It's simply not okay. And anybody who does cover is going to get themselves in a lot of trouble. Again, they'll be hanging with their homies thick as thieves, and they can bet their bottom dollar that their homies will throw them under the bus or kill them at the slightest chance of trouble. So, careful who you trust, right? I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I appreciate you watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share, put the word out. I'm trying really hard to put my knowledge and skills to use. I have many, many years of mental health professional, as a mental health professional, and being in the family of law enforcement and military. So I feel like I might be a good person to express some thoughts and opinions, and I try to do my research. I try to find out what I can find out before I start speaking, and I'm going to learn my damn computer skills so that I can start putting photographs and links and all that good stuff, video clips. So I'll get there. I'm on it. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Put your feet up. Drink your water. Eat well. Thanks again. And we'll see you hopefully in the morning.